Hi there, Jamie Keat here today at Teacher's Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to show you how to use iMovie on your Mac. So this is a beginner's tutorial. If you're new to video editing, I'll go through all the things to get you started and finished on your first videos. Let's get started today on Teacher's Tech with iMovie on your Mac. Just to let you know, everything will be time-stamped down below in the description, so you can look at different parts of this video and just jump right to them by clicking on the time. And if you're looking for other video editors that will work on your Mac, maybe with a few more options, I'll put a list to some of the ones of the tutorials I have for those ones down below in the description too. Let's get started with iMovie. So if you don't have iMovie installed on your Mac, you can install it for free. Just go to the App Store, type in iMovie, and you'll be able to get it right here. And you can see mine says open because I already have it installed on my computer. So if you don't have it, go ahead, download it, make sure and get it up to date and everything. Now, if you have it installed on your computer, you can see down below, I'm just going to pop this open and I get to this screen here. This is where I'm going to start my videos from. A lot of times what will happen if you've been working on one, and I'm just going to open this one up. I just double clicked on that. What happens is it will open up in the screen kind of where you left it, maybe with your video. If you wanted to be back in the main screen, you can just go back to projects here and then it will get you back to this one. And if I had more projects, you would see more of these squares like this. And as I hover over any of these, you can see if I click over on these three little dots, I get some options about opening the project, playing the movie, renaming the project, and this is where I can delete my projects if you don't want them. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to be starting from scratch. I just wanted to point out the other place up top, we have projects right here. There's also media. So inside media, you're going to see your different types of media. So if you're new to video editing, media could be your videos, it could be your images, it could be your audio, your songs that you need to bring in and put into iMovie in the way that you want the story you want to tell. So just pay attention to those different tabs up here. I'm just going to go back over to projects now, and I'm going to go ahead and start a new one. So if I just go ahead and click on create new project, you can see I get some options here. I can either create movie, and this is what I'm going to be starting with today. I'll talk about trailer at the end of this as I go through, and you'll understand the editing that you can do, but I will go over a little bit about the trailer because the trailer is a fun way to put your storyboard all together in a quick story just by kind of filling in the blanks. But I'm going to go ahead, click on movie here, and you're going to see I get right to my movie, my media here. I have my photos. This is just a photo from my phone. I can go to all events. This would be connected to the video with the project that I showed you before. As I go down, you can see some of the footage in it. If I just hover my mouse over and just move it across, you can see how I can watch it by doing that. If I go back, I'm going to bring in new media here, but I'm going to go to this different ways I can bring in media. And so right here in this folder, and this is why I have it moved over here so you can see I can open this up. Now, I went to pexels.com and downloaded free video and some images from there. I can take this video. So let's say you took your videos and everything and you put it in a folder just to get it organized. You can bring things in. So for an example, I'll just grab one. If I go ahead and grab one and drop it right into the timeline down here, you can see I'm just going to hit my space bar and it's going to play. Where I have my playhead here, I can click back at different places on this one, and then I can hit play again. So I'm just hitting the space bar. I can start it just by pressing. I find that's the easy way to do that. I can also play it up here and pause it and go back. You can see how you can operate it here. Now, another way you can do it, so I could go back to this folder like this and bring them all in. I could grab multiple ones at a time. So if I selected a few here and brought them in, you can see how they all go in. I could hit play and they're just putting them in a different order. as they go through. So I have some images there, and then I have some pictures. If you look up top here, you're starting to see them in your their library up top here. Another way you can bring in your media is just to take the whole folder and drag it in on top of an event. But let's say you didn't want it in that event, you can create more events. I'm just going to right click and go new event, and you can see it automatically creates the new event with the day. And then I can drag it over, and then I put all the media. This is some audio that was in the folder. These are pictures, you can tell by the little camera icon on it, and these are videos that I bring over my mouse, and I can get a little idea what each one is. Now you don't have to leave it as the date, you can rename it. So if you just click in it, you can see how it changes over, and I can just change the name like this. So I'm going to go back to projects real quickly. You'll notice if I hit projects, it forces me to give a name to it. So if I go dogs, I hit OK, and now we have one right here. It gives a little image on it. But if I can go back to it, it goes right back to where where I've been working. Now, just something to point out here, I brought in these videos like this. You can move them around very quickly by clicking and dragging. You see if I select one, you get the yellow line or orange line around it, meaning it's selected when that's there. Now, if I go ahead and drag the selection tool around multiple ones, you can see that 2 are selected on it too. So if I drag it around now, 2 are moving around, and I can also do it with 3. So if I was selecting a bunch and moving them around, that's how I could do it. The other thing is, I just wanted to point out, so I have 2 different videos here I'm going to play it from right here, so you'll be able to see these videos, and I'm just going to hit the space bar. Now you can see it switches over to the top layer. If you put something on top, that's what you're going to see. So if for some reason you're not seeing the video and you play something on top, that's why. I'll show you later on when to do picture in picture, to change a few of the options so you can see multiple videos at the same time playing. But right now, this one will cover everything. So now let's get into some of the editing, some of the ways that you can edit in iMovie to keep things going forward and creating the story that you want to with your media. Okay, so now I've deleted all the different media that I had in my timeline before, and I'm just going to start from scratch from this media that I have up top in this event. And what I'm going to show you is how you can trim your clips or split your clips or audio or get the images to the right length of time that you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of these clips, and remember, I can grab multiple ones too. So I could grab multiple ones just like this, so you can see how I brought 3 in at a time, or I could just bring them in one at a time. I do want to point out this zoom tool over here. If I zoom in, zoom out, you can see how I can see more. So if you wanted to kind of jump out and see the big picture, to zoom up on certain parts of it, so this way when you're bringing your mouse over your playhead, you can get really, if you're editing, you can get to kind of frame by frame easier to cut it at a certain point. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to actually delete some of this here, and I'm just going to bring in one clip to show you some trimming. So I'm going to bring, oops, I got multiple ones there. Okay, so just bring in one clip here. You can see I had multiple ones selected, so I'll just bring in this one. And now there's different ways that you can get rid of part of the clip that you don't want, and usually all video editors kind of work the same on this too. Now I'm going to go to the beginning of this video clip here, and notice when I hover over here, it gives me the mouse changes. Now I can just click and hold and drag like this. So I've just trimmed from the beginning, and I can do the same thing to the end. I can trim from the end. But now let's say if you over trimmed and you're thinking, oh no, I've over trimmed. Well, you could hit Command Z and go back and put it back. But the one thing is, when you trim, you can go both ways. You can trim, you haven't deleted the original file, you can go back to it so you can get really to the exact point you want. So I could go back and just put everything back the way that I wanted to just by dragging the other way. The other way that you'd probably want to trim is cut something out of the middle. And if I, let's say, go here and right click, you can see when I right click on the clip, I get all these different options here. Notice that from show speed editor, cross dissolve, I can add a freeze frame, but I want split clip. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on split clip. So now I've made 2 chunks out of this clip here. But let's say there was something in the middle that I wanted out of here. If I just click over here, and now I right click again and hit split clip again, there we go. So now I have a chunk. Now with this chunk of this clip, the smaller clip, I could take it out and move it to the end. So maybe you wanted to change the order of what happened in it. You can do that and just drag them around. The other thing you could do is just delete it. And then so now if I just play this back and I'll hit play, it should jump over there, but probably not much happened when I cut it off, so you probably don't even notice it that much from that little clip being cut out of there. So it's just a little slight jump in it. So that's kind of your basics with editing with video clips. Now if you had pictures in here, what you can do, and I'm just going to delete this to show you one at a time. If I take this image right here, so this is just a picture. With a picture, I can just drag and drag it as long as I want to, as short as I want. Now, if I do that with an image, if I go back and I'm going to zoom out here, notice if I go to the video clip, I can't drag the video clip any longer because it's only so many seconds. I can change the duration of it, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. But with an image, I can just drag, I can grab the ends here and drag it as long or as short as I want when it plays in here. So now I have an image, and it goes over from there to the video. So we're just going to be lining things up in the order that we want to play, and we can quickly drag and change that order. Now another way with your video clips that you can do, if any of these clips, if I click on it, I can drag from up here too. So I can go and watch it and then shorten the clip, get to a certain part, and then I could hit the plus or drag it down here. And so now I have just that chunk that I brought in. I can still, if I need it more, I can still do the same things and trim it or take something out in the middle by splitting the clip and doing it that way. So I just wanted to point it out that you can kind of maybe save some time doing it that way. I just want to point out with any of these clips, you can drag them over top of another clip to do some editing too. So an example would be, let's say this image right here. I could drag this right into here, and when I let go, it's going to give me some options where it says replace, replace from start, from end, or insert. I'm going to select insert here, and it put the image, this picture, right inside. So it was where my playhead was lined up, and it put it right in between and did the split for me. So if there's something you need to add, so I'm going to go Command Z. This works for picture or for videos too. I could go ahead and take a different image, video, and drop it same way. I could go insert, and you can see right here that it went in between the two. So again, you can change kind of your view, your zoom to see what you want to get. So just some other ways that you can do some quick editing just by dropping on it. So let's do a little audio now, and I'm going to just I'll keep these images in what I have in the video. I'm going to move over to the beginning, and I'm just going to go and drag audio down. So notice when I drag audio, if I try to drop it here, it will go below. So the audio will go below. I can hit play here. You can hear the audio in the background. So you can do the same thing. You can do some trimming. You can drag from it. You can see how you can just move it back and forth on it. If I right click, if I go to a part of it, have it selected, right click, and I can split it also. So it works very similar to the other when I was working with video. If I go ahead and drag this down though, you'll notice it just inserted another audio track in here. So I can't do the exact same thing that I did before with it. So I'm just going to hit delete on this one, but you can do your trimming and splitting with your audio just like that. So now we got some basic editing, how to line things up, bring things in. Let's see some of the effects that you can add to your video. So I'm just going to bring in this clip right here. And the reason I'm bringing in this clip, this actually has some audio to it. We'll see if you can hear. It's very quiet, but if you look at the blue underneath, you can see the waves in it. Now you can detach audio from your clip, and I'm going to right click, and if you look, detach audio. So what that does, when I click it, it becomes separated into its own track. So here's the audio I've selected. You can see I can move it around separately, or I can delete it from it if you don't want it even there at all. So remember that you can do that with a right click. If I go back to right click, just to show you a couple more things, if I right click on this and open it up, trim to playhead is a handy feature because if you move if you're zoomed up, get your playhead to the exact place, you can click it and it just jumps to that spot. So it can make your editing a little bit quicker. I'm just going to go Command Z to bring it back here. And now if I go ahead and right click on this again, I just want to point out there is a clip trimmer that you can go through and trim your clips inside here. I don't use this a ton, but it is there to do some editing on that. I'm going to go back just a couple more times to the right click. Another good feature is the add freeze frame. If all of a sudden you wanted a freeze frame in it, so if I click on it, you can see how the hand comes up. If I just go ahead, I'll hit play. It goes from a video to the freeze frame, back to the video if that's what you want on it. And another thing would be the speed editor. So if I right click, I'm going to go back and show this here. Actually, I'm going to get a smaller clip so you can see it a little bit better. I'm just going to grab this one here and drag it down. I'm going to right click on this one and go back to show speed editor, but I can drag this right here. So notice at the end, if I drag this, I'm making this faster now. I've made this a short clip, so watch. So it's you can see the dogs go through. Now I can go to this again, and I can, if I stretch it longer, they're going to be in slow motion. So if you want to add some effects like that to your video clips, just do the right click. Now I am moving over to the top up here, and this is where you're going to see a lot of the other effects. And there's this button right here is also the custom speed that you can go through. You can click on this speed one and go and drop down. You can see you can just kind of pick from these ones. If I was going to go back to normal, and you can see how it adjusts, or you can go to custom and put a percentage. I kind of like the right click and adjusting the speed from there. So now what we're going to do is bring in some more clips and work with these, and just showing you what the different these different icons up the top will do for you with your editing and the effects that you can add. Before I move over to those top tools to make those adjustments to the videos, I just want to show you a few other things easy to add, and that's transitions, titles, and some backgrounds. Now, transitions happen between a video to video, or from picture to picture, or video to picture. So here you can see I have a video, and if you watch the playhead, it goes over to the picture, and it just jumps across. Now a transition, if I go to transition, these are transitions. So I'm going to use swap. And I'm going to just drag this down here in between the two. So watch as I play it again, it swapped it, and that was the transition. So again, I'll use the mosaic right here, and I'll go from here, and it adds a mosaic. I can change the length. If I double click on these, open it up, I could make it longer or shorter depending on what I put there as the number, and then I can apply to this one individually or apply to all. So take advantage of the transitions. Very easy to add, can really make your video a lot smoother in different parts when going from video to video, different sections of it. Now titles are right here. So adding a title to it is just a simple drag and drop too. So you're going to drag this. If I drag this, I'm just going to do the standard title. I'm going to just drag it here at the beginning, and I'm just going to hit play without doing anything to this here. So you can see it comes up. And the title, there's a little bit of how it fades in. It looks nice. If I double click on it, I can go ahead and pick the text, select the text, and I'll say all about dogs. And I can go through and change the titles here too. So if I go back now, I'll just hit play again, and we have the title in there. If I double click on it again, we have options to change, again, to make sure you have it selected. If it doesn't change our font type. in here are size, alignment, and if you want a different color, so this is it's white right now. If I had it selected, I could select a different color in here too. So those are just some of the things to change your text or font. And then we can adjust this too. If you don't want it in a one spot, you could bring it over here and then it's going to show in a different place. So it's really simple to put it exactly where you need. You can delete it, put it back. Now I mentioned the backgrounds are also here. So with backgrounds, these are just cool things that you can bring into your videos. You know, if you just wanted, again, just a simple color background, or they have some maps in here. You could use color for the background of the text. So for an example, I'm just going to delete this video. I'll go back. I didn't want to delete the text. Make sure I'm just moving the text over here. We'll delete this video and I'll bring in this blue as a background and I'll put my text over top. And I can stretch it longer if I want to any point. So I'll go from there. So now if I play it, I have a colored background on it. But take a look at the different backgrounds here that you can bring in with the different maps and go through them. They're just handy to have to just quickly drag down. Okay, now to talk about the tools I mentioned before, right up here, you notice that they're all grayed out. It's because I don't have any video clip selected. So I'm going to drag this clip down into my timeline, and then right away you can see that certain ones are highlighted and some aren't. It's because this one doesn't have, if it doesn't have any audio, the audio symbol won't come up. So if I grab, I'll just grab this one, bring it down, you notice we have a few more options to this one with audio and background noise that I can reduce on it. So just to note, if there's something's not showing up, it's because it's probably not in the clip. But first of all, I just want to go through kind of the different tools up here. When you see this wand up here at all, this is the auto. So this kind of corrects things automatically for you. So automatically improve the video and audio. It will just go through and make the judgment calls for you. You just go ahead and click it and then it makes the adjustment. If I click on this, you can see it's on auto right now. You can go through your clips, and then if I hit match color on it, I can go through this clip right here, and then I can pick a point on it, and as I'm hovering over, it's telling me to skim through and pick a frame. Then I can try to match a color. I don't think you're going to see anything really change on it, but I'm going to just hit the check mark on it, then it applies it. So same thing with white balance on it and going through the different ones. So I'm going to go through and just to show you real quickly how you can change, how you can adjust different colors on this one. So I'm going to go through and just pull them. You can see back and forth. If you're adjusting any of these, you can just go through and get, maybe if there's a certain color that you want, we have a reset over here, and reset all will go back to any of these ones. So crop is the next one here. So crop, what it allows you to do, you can do two different things. So what I'm going to do on this clip here, if I go ahead and crop to fill, you can see I get edges, and I can go through and maybe I want to, it's almost like zooming up, but if I pick just the dogs on it, and then I'm just going to hit return. So now my clip is zoomed up on it. So you can go ahead and crop to that certain one. I can reset all, it goes back to normal. So if I go to crop, you can also see that there's key burns. And so what key burns is, it adds movements. You can give it a start and end place for the duration of the clip. So I can go through and grab these. If this was the start, I could actually, when I hover over it, I can bring it, make my start up here and make my end down here. So now if I go ahead and preview it this shortly to give you an idea, you can see there's a movement to the video to where I told it to start and where I told it to end on it. So you can go through and make those effects. And notice that there are a few different ways that you can do this, how you can twist it and turn it around. I'm just going to go ahead, reset all on this one. So I'm going to go actually back now and drag another video clip over top of this one, because I mentioned picture in picture before. So if I drag this over top, what you notice now, you get an extra frame, extra tool here, because you've overlaid something so it knows that. So if I go ahead and click drop down, this is where I would do my green blue screen, picture in picture, split screen, and I'm going to hit picture in picture. Notice that here it is. right here, I can change the size of this, and I can hit play, and I have 2 videos playing at once. I can go to, let's do split screen, and I have 2 videos playing at once. And then you can see where we can position it and go through. So depending on what you want, or maybe you want top and bottom, you can change those things around on it. So just remember the drop down here to just play with the different options. I'm just going to hit reset on this one and just go back and delete it, but you do have to overlay it on top, because now you notice if I click on this clip, it's not there anymore. So we have a couple other features in this one. If I notice this, if it's shaky, you can try to stabilize it. This video isn't, but you can try to stabilize shaky video through here by adjusting this part. I've already shown you this. This is also where you can change the speed, the duration of it. And as we go through, we have clip filters. If I click on this, we can see there's none, and I can go ahead and add them to this one. I'm going to reset, so you can see, you can just go quickly, click on it, and then pick the different ones that you want to add. I'm just going to keep resetting it all, and then at the end we just have the information of the clip up here. So go through, this is where you can really kind of just get more creative with different things and remembering the overlay. If I bring audio in here, so I'm going to bring audio down into the clip. We do have audio, some features in it where you can change the level of it. So if you wanted it to be down, you can see as the line, as I bring it up and the yellow appear, you can change how loud that you want it to be on it. And you can go through and pick, is there any, reduce the background noise to it. Again, the duration, and you can make some adjustments to the audio. So we do have audio effects that we can add to it, and you can go through and just hover over the different ones, and you can hear what it's going to do if you apply it to it. So those are just some of the features that you can add to it. I'm just going to reset everything between your video clips and your images and your video. Take a look at those ones. So iMovie makes it really simple to go through and get creative. And just again, it's not overwhelming with all the drop downs. Just go through and click on them, adjust it, and remember you can reset everything. So let's say you're all done your video, you've added your transitions and titles and effects. What do you do at the end? How do you share it? That's what I'll go over next. Okay, so let's say you've completed your video. You have, and I'll just play this, you have some text, some audio, pictures, transitions, and you've put together things in order the way you want to have it, and you're thinking it's done. You want to be able to put it on YouTube or share it with other people. What you can do is, when you're in this side, I'm just going to go up to the top here, and you can see that there's more. I didn't really point out the different menus of this, but there's different ways to get to the same things that I've showed you before. But if I go under File and go down to Share, you can see we have email, YouTube, and Facebook, image, and file. And what I would tend to do is go to File. If you're putting it up on YouTube, is export it on your computer and then upload it to YouTube from there. So if I hit File, you can see this is going to be called Dogs 1. We go through and we have some tags on it. Now your resolution and your format, if I go through, you can see if you only wanted the audio only, it would output it there. Our resolution, depending on what, I'm going to stay at 1080p. Quality high on this one. You can go to best if you want. Your file size would change. I'm going to leave it through here. And you can see if we go through, it just has an estimate of the size, and we just go through and hit next. Where do you want to save this? So is there a folder that you're having your finished movies go to? You can name it here. Remember, you can open this up. You can create a new folder wherever you want. And when you get it to where you want, we'll get to next. and I'm just going to hit save in here, and it goes through and it's producing it, or it's exporting it as a finished video that you can upload to YouTube wherever you told it to go. I'm just going to hit back to projects, and I just wanted to point out you can share it from right here. So if you're just coming to the screen, click these three little dots. We also have share project, and it'll get you to the same part. So I did mention about, and I'm going to do this quickly just to show you with the create new, and this is the trailer mode. So taking all the things that you knew before that I showed you through this, how to play with different things. These give you templates that you can just drag and drop. Well, this pets one seems like a good plan for me based on what I was doing, and I'm going to select that. And as you go through, you can go through and change these things. So you can see movie names. So if I type in here, you can change them, and it gives you, you know, from cast, directed by. You can see all I have to do is change these, and it quickly goes through. We have a storyboard in here, and it tells you, what I like about this is it tells you exactly what type of shot that they would recommend. And now I don't have the shots that would match all these, but if I go ahead and it tells me 2.5 seconds, right? So if I go ahead and drag a portion of it, and I just drag it down, so all I have to do is drag the clips to match, and they're putting it into the right the times that I need of it. So, and I'm doing this pretty random to show this, but then you just go through, and if I hit play here on it, and we'll see what I have so far. So it's adding the music, it's making it fun, and I'm just doing this at random of it. So you can go through, take a look at the different shot lists of it, and then you're just dragging, dropping, and you're just filling in all this information super quickly, and then you can export it the same way. Because if I go back, if I hit projects, it's telling me I have to name this again, right? So if I just call this, I'll just call this the template one here. And I go back, here it is, and I can go ahead and share this project when it's all done. So you can have a ton of fun if you're a teacher using this with your students. It's a quick way, saves you a ton of time. And just to let you know, if you're using this on your iPhone, a lot of things are kind of similar but different. If you're filming, if you're editing on your iPhone or your iPad, but the templates are here like these ones here. So I hope you like this tutorial here today. Hopefully it gets you started with iMovie and creating some great projects. I'll add some more information about iMovie. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking to learn, and I can create more content. If you're looking for other video editors that on your Mac, let me know what you're looking for, but check the description down below too. Thanks for watching on Teachers Tech this week. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.